Yo, what's up guys? You got PokeaimMD here with another competitive Pokemon Sun and Moon moveset video guide analysis, whatever you want to call it, on Comfey or Comfey. I'm going to call it Comfey because I like the way Comfey sounds. It makes me feel all warm inside, whereas Comfey might actually be correct because it's a lay, but I like Comfey. Anyway, if you guys missed any of the previous moveset videos or guides, there's a playlist. The link is down below in the description. I encourage you to go ahead and check that out. Also, feel free to follow me on Twitch and Twitter. Those links are down below. So let's talk about this Pokemon real quick. So, pure Fairy type, which means it only has two weaknesses, Poison and Steel. Has an immunity to Dragon, Resist Fighting, Bug, and Dark. And it covers everything else, or takes neutral from everything else. So, Fairy type, already one of the best types. It has pretty solid base 110 special defense and pretty solid base 100 speed. Outside of that, base 90 defense and 82 special attack, 51 HP. I compare this Pokemon to Klefki, just a faster version of Klefki. Honestly, if this Pokemon had spikes, I think it'd be better than Klefki. I'm not gonna lie, especially with the nerf to what they did for versus Dark types. I think it might be better than Klefki in some ways. Obviously, Prankster Thunderwave versus something like a Zardex is it's irreplaceable, but I think in some ways Comfey might have been better than Klefki, but it has three abilities. Flower Veil, which doesn't really matter in singles, but the two abilities that it does have is Triage and Natural Cure. Triage giving +3 priority to all healing moves, which means Synthesis, Leech Seed, Draining Kiss, even its attack, which already restores 75% of the damage dealt. Has +3 priority, and that priority is faster than a quick attack from Mega Pinsir or an extreme speed even. So +3 priority, Comfey, extremely fast, making it a little bit deadly in some situations. And Natural Cure is obviously a great ability because the Pokemon status goes away when it switches out. So first set we have, I want to give a big shout out to my boy Snowy. We've been talking a lot and making all these sets and testing things and whatnot. So first set we have on Comfey is the Taunt CM, and I like to call it the Stall Breaker set. It's a leftovers. You want to run leftovers. You want to run Triage. Triage lets you pretty much be deadly with Draining Kiss and Synthesis. But the idea of this set is to Calm Mind, Draining Kiss, taunt your opponent, stop them from hazing you, stop them from phasing you, stop them from statusing you, and then Synthesis for recovery. Now the EV spread gives you its Timid Nature, 72 speed, which allows you to outspeed Timid Max Speed Heatran before that thing can taunt you, and you can actually wear that thing down and beat it 1v1 unless it crits you, because you do have great natural special defense. Even if it does crit you, it can't knock you out in one hit. And the rest was just poured into HP and defense to make it as bulky as possible on the physically defensive side, since you are boosting your special defense when Calm Minding up. So again, this Pokemon is a fast taunter, outspeeds Heatran, outspeeds the defoggers outside of Latios and Latias, and those two can be worn down by a Draining Kiss, by priority Draining Kiss, and beats Mandibuzz and can beat Tapu Fini that is not running max speed. So the idea of this set again is to Calm Mind up and just wear down your opponent with Draining Kiss, stop them from defogging away your hazards, stop them from statusing you, and to use it more as a stall breaker and a sweeper. It can actually 1v1 some variants of stall, especially if you manage to get rocks up, because stall users can't phase you, they can't status you if you have taunt. Be careful though versus stall, because in theory, on paper, yeah, it does beat stall, and I have used it to beat stall. But if the stall user, if you don't manage to get up rocks, the stall user can just switch around indefinitely and stall you out, literally, of all your attacks. So next up we have the Cleric Calm Mind set. It replaces Taunt with Aromatherapy. Now, because you are running an Aromatherapy, you don't care too much about something statusing you, since you can always get rid of it. So it's just a fully physically defensive Calm Mind Comfey set. I was about to call it Klefki. A Calm Mind Comfey set with Aromatherapy, Draining Kiss, Calm Mind, and Synthesis. Again, you're going to be running Bold Nature, max out your defense, max out your HP. Your HP is really low, so it's that'd be so good if this thing had 404 HP. Oh my god! But I think it'd be borderline nasty if it did. That's a description, borderline nasty. But the idea of this set again is max out your physical defense so you can take most of the neutral hits coming at you, which are most hits. You can set this thing up on dragons. Watch out for Swords Dance, Life Orb, Garchomp. That thing is a threat. But the idea of this set is to calm mind up, and then if you get status by something, just go for aromatherapy. Have that priority Draining Kiss and priority Synthesis. That way you can heal up literally on both sides. Unfortunately, Draining Kiss, while it is an awesome move because it does have priority and it does recover 75% of the damage dealt, it's only 50 base power, so it's incredibly weak. It is incredibly weak. However, that priority move definitely comes in handy when there's Pokemon such as Pheromosa running around that can smack you with a Poison Jab for a solid 2-hit KO. Actually, if you're running max HP Comfey and I think 4 defense, you don't die to an Adamant or a Jolly Life or Pheromosa's Poison Jab. But obviously with this set you're not dying, and you do outspeed it. After a Calm Mind, you're going to be hitting that thing with a Draining Kiss. You're going to be doing a ton of damage to Pheromosa, being able to check that. But it's just using Comfey as more of a setup sweeper and a Cleric for the team, which is going to support the team. Next up we have just the pure Cleric. And again, same EV spread, physically defensive, letting it take on... It does have good resistances, as I mentioned. Bug, Fighting, Dark, all very common types. So you can run physically defensive to be able to take those Bug or those Fighting types or even those Dark types aimed at you. And instead of using Calm Mind, it's more of just a Cleric with support. So it's Draining Kiss as your only attacking move. Synthesis for healing up. Aromatherapy, again, you're a Cleric. And then U-turn because you can get some momentum. Instead of running Bold, you could actually run Relaxed if you wanted. But I like the idea of getting off a faster U-turn versus... like if you run Relaxed, you're slower than Pokemon like Landorus, even though Landorus is sometimes running Relaxed nowadays. Anyway, I like the idea of getting up a faster U-turn versus Landorus. Then again, a slow U-turn might actually not be bad, but in some situations, I like that idea of just getting off that hit. Also being able to outspeed Pokemon like Min Speed Tapu Fini before they can taunt you, or even Tapu Fini that runs about 217, 218, 219 speed. You can outspeed them before they can taunt you. And yeah, that basically it's using Comfey as a support role. Another Pokemon that could actually do this role as well would be Serena, but at the same time, Comfey does have that Fairy typing, which is superior to the Grass typing, at least when it comes to resistances, and obviously gaining it in immunity, whereas Grass doesn't have that. But Serena is arguably bulkier, HP and all that stuff. Though it's less speed, so I don't know. Take your trade on it. But Triage is the ability just to give you the priority in your attacking move and synthesis and whatnot. So offensive Combine. This was made Combine. Comfey Combine. Offensive Combine was I love how I mix it up. I swear in the live I'm gonna be calling this thing Klefki like 50 times, man. Forgive me. But offensive Combine was a set that was I believe created by Envy. Shout out to my boy Envy. And it's using it more as an offensive option than as a support mon, or than as a stall breaker, as a Calm Mind Cleric. But the set is Calm Mind, Draining Kiss. Draining Kiss is your main form stab. Grass Knot, which allows you to deal with bulky waters as well as Pokemon such as a Powdon. And then Hidden Power Ground allows you to deal with Heatran, Magnezone, and Alola Marowak. Knocking out Magnezone at +1, or sometimes in neutral. Knocking out Marowak after a bit of prior damage, and knocking out Heatran after a bit of prior damage. So it's using it more as an offensive mon. Triage is still the main ability just because priority Draining Kiss is clean as hell, especially when there's Pokemon such as Salamence running around right now. Salamence is so deadly with Supersonic Sky Strike and Dragon Dance and whatnot. But you can run Hidden Power Fire. I think it's weaker though, and weaker as in the Pokemon that it hits, Skarmory, Celesteela, it's doing less. Ferrothorn, it's doing only to Ferrothorn that it would do more, and then Scizor can just bullet punch you. So I like Hidden Power Ground because it has a 2 times effective, or has a 4 times effective, on Magnezone as well as Heatran. So chances are it's actually going to be doing damage or getting rid of them or luring them. Whereas HP Fire is not going to be doing too much to Skarmory, not going to be doing too much to Celesteela, and they all threaten you with either Spikes, Heavy Slam, Brave Bird, respectively, and Scizor obviously a Bullet Punch. But it is a more offensive alternative to Comfey. I've used it to a bit of success, but I found Taunt Calm Mind, even the Cleric option's a lot better. But this is a more offensive variant, and the EV spread is just modest max special attack, 196 speed, that way you can outspeed Mamoswine, hit that boy with a Grass Knot, and then the rest was just dumped into HP to provide some more overall bulk. It does have pretty solid defenses on both sides, so it can eat hits. Unfortunately, it does have that low HP stat. But next up we have utility. This is pure utility. The idea of this set is abuse natural cure, abuse your high speed, and just taunt, spam leech seed, synthesis up, and then just U-turn around. You can also slash toxic on this set, but I feel like in order for this to be a utility mon, taunt, synthesis, and leech seed are all necessary, and U-turn just provides so much for a mon like this. This can be a status absorber with natural cure. Come in, take the status, taunt your opponent, prevent them from defogging, prevent them from setting up, hit them with leech seeds, and just synthesis and U-turn around. Just max speed, max HP. You're not abusing your priority on this set, so you're going to be using this set more so again as a utility mon, as a status absorber to be able to leech seed around and just spam taunt. Works really well with toxic spikes. I'll go more into I'll go more into what works with this mon in a bit. But again, other options that this mon does have, because it does have such a low HP stat, you can use Big Root, which means I believe Draining Kiss, instead of recovering 75%, I believe it recovers 97% of the damage dealt. Again, because of its low HP stat, you can run that. Another option is Pixie Plate. Pixie Plate instead of Life Orb, though I think a Life Orb just helps with Hidden Power Ground and Grass Knot a lot. Substitute is an option if you want to run like a sub-seed set. HP Fire, again, I mentioned as an option for Ferrothorn, Celesteela, Skarmory, Scizor, but mainly I think HP Ground is a lot better. HP Ground actually gets the KOs on stuff, whereas the Mon, you're HP Fire and you're not. And then Trick Room is also another option that this Pokemon does have in its arsenal. It's able to run. And again, Energy Ball might be another option by like Grass Knot, though Energy Ball does hit Pokemon such as Manaphy and Rotom harder. I do like Grass Knot for fat, bulky waters. Screens are also an option on this Pokemon, at least Light Screen anyway. And it provides, outside of that, not really much you can run with this mon. You can use it in doubles with like Flower Veil and Floral Healing and whatnot, but I'm not going to talk about that in singles, obviously. I really like this mon though, I really do. Big Root can be used, like I said, on the utility set. You cover more with Leech Seed, or even on any set with Leech Seed or Draining Kiss. But outside of that, I don't think really Comfey has too many other options. I definitely wouldn't run physical on this mod. Doesn't really have a good physical moveset anyway. Well, it's not that bad. Pedal Blizzard, Acrobatics, U-turn, whatnot, but Play Rough even. But it doesn't have the good attacks. It has base 52 attack, man. I'll show you guys what this is with Adamant Max attack. It's so low. Yeah, nice 223 attack. Ooh, max invested. Definitely worth the EVs. Nah, but I would definitely use it as more as a support role or status abuser or taunt combine if you want to use anything. But few good teammates with it. Toxapex provides toxic support. Also resist steel and poison, which are the only things that Comfey is weak to. So providing Toxapex support, especially when you have Comfey with taunt. A fast taunt to provide defog as well. They pair really well together. Magnezone is also a great partner, trapping Skarmory, Celesteela, Scizor, Ferrothorn, everything that Comfey hates to fight. Magnezone just gets rid of. Also, again, resisting steel and immune to poison, so helping it out on that end. Scizor provides knockoff support, which is really nice for Pokemon such as Heatran, getting rid of their item if they do have leftovers. Heatran hates losing its leftovers, and if it does lose its leftovers, that just makes the Calm Mind Taunt set a lot easier to beat Heatran. Without leftovers, it has no form of recovery. It also provides U-turn support, and again, like the others, resist poison and has an immunity, or resist, steel and has an immunity to poison. Also just helps take on pretty much every hit at Comfey, like Mamoswine and whatnot. Muck provides pursuit support for Tapu Lele, as well as providing knockoff again for Comfey. Comfey really loves knockoff, especially the first set that I'm using right here, Taunt Calm Mind set, because if your opponent doesn't have recovery, yeah, Draining Kiss is weak, but you're not killing it, and you're weakening it with Stealth Rock and support and whatnot. So Muck really works well as that. Also absorbing Toxic Spikes for Comfey. Skarmory provides Spikes as well as defog. I think Spikes is more important, again, has a support. But also like the others, resisting steel and also immunity to poison, providing a ground immunity versus like Lanterns and things like that with strong earthquakes, as well as Mammal Swine can phase them out. And then Greninja appreciates that Comfey stops Tapu Fini from defogging if it is more of a defensive Tapu Fini set, and Greninja appreciates that as it can wear it down Ash Greninja anyway, and provides U-turn support. So that's all I have for Comfey. I hope you learned something. This is a really fun Pokemon to use. Honestly, I really do think that if it got spikes, it would be almost better than Klefki in some sense. I would definitely use spikes. But thank you everybody for watching. I hope you guys all enjoyed. Feel free, of course, to follow me on Twitter and Twitch. The links are down below, and I'll see you guys next time. Goodbye, friends.